It is hump day, and it is time to take a look at the stories in the papers across Nigeria. This is Freshly Pressed on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. We love music, we love life, we love to follow the news cycle, and today is not going to be any different at all. It's brought to you by Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. My name is Ayokunmi Kekiriek. Great to have you join us this morning, as you always do. Looking forward to another exciting, action packed show. Looking forward to your contributions as well. It's interactive as always. In case you didn't know, now you know. All you need to do is to join us on YouTube, join us on WhatsApp as well. Keep up with us and let us know what is in your head concerning the stories. That is, the WhatsApp number is 0911 999 Leave your comments on YouTube also. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, joining me this morning to analyze the stories and break it down, make sense of it, and just give us a clearer picture. There are three gentlemen on the show this morning, two on Zoom and one right here in the studio. Devoe and Lakunle are with us this morning. Lakunle, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. It's a wonderful, bright Wednesday, the last Wednesday of February. And hey, the year is already 2 months old. Shall we start the countdown to the next year?
It's never too early. Never too early. But let's take it day by day, first of all. Devoe, good morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, morning, world. Lagos, Smooth, AY, Lakunle. And I think there's a unionist in the room. Eku ransom Tokbaro. Eku ransom Tokbaro.
I wasn't expecting that one, but we'll come back to that. Mr. C is also in the building. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Aya. Good morning, Devoe. Good morning, Lakunle. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, virtual listeners. Good morning, city boys. Good morning, village boys.
Alrighty, let's jump right into the conversation this morning. And what I thought Devoe would actually lead with, well, I was pleasantly surprised. Let's talk about what's been in the news and the last 24 hours or thereabouts. And we have
three.
Okay. We shall be okay. Devoe has decided to start in this manner. No problem. We'll get to the other one. Let's step into the Daily Post, and there's a publication here that the federal government of Nigeria has reacted to, that is circulating in the media, attributed to international wire services, alleging that the Nigerian government paid a huge, in quotes, ransom, including the release of militant commanders to secure the freedom of the school children abducted from St. Mary's Boarding School in Niger State. The federal government, in a statement that was signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stated that these allegations are completely false and baseless and constitute a disservice to the professionalism and integrity of Nigeria's security forces and the sacrifices they make daily. The government has said it is a lie. We did not pay any ransom, and saying that these stories constitute a disservice to the integrity of the security forces. But when we talk about these people who kidnapped these children, no story has come out to say that the security forces arrested anybody. Devoe.
Well, Eku ransom Tokbaro, in English, that means ransom that lies. I think it's safe in Nigeria, especially, for us to now know or to say that government pays ransom. There was a time we were speculating. We were not sure. We used to say, we don't know how we're going to get our people out, until it was in the Buhari administration where kidnapping became rampant. And literally in every instance, now it's no longer, you don't even have to wait for government. First of all, whilst the government and the police will always say, there was even a time the Senate tried to raise a law that anybody who pays ransom would be penalized or criminalized. Just to real, and the question then, the anger and the question then was, how can you criminalize paying of ransom when you don't come to my aid? My own loved one has been kidnapped, and you're saying I shouldn't pay when the government itself is not going to use the instruments of the police, the army, to get my people out. Now, if that was not enough, we saw an instance in different cases whereby even when the industry of kidnapping, which we can almost say entered ₦1 trillion. Okay, when some who were kidnapped came back, they would tell you that they saw the organized way police and co were all parts of it.
Yeah.
There were many instances whereby in some locations we were told even the military turned a left eye for kidnapping to take place. Even in some of the recent ones in the Bola Tinubu administration, you heard of the signals that came in for the military to leave before the kidnap took place. Then we now heard of how, in some instances, signals were given for people who were captured to have been released. Now, I'm talking about the criminals in this case. So then it got to the point of when Donald Trump now made his threats, and immediately after his threat, it was like his threat was a call to all kidnappers nationwide to, come out in full. And what we heard, I think it was the Niger State case where, in the midst of the threats and the tension that came from the American president, we heard the presidency come out and say that DSS called the kidnappers and they were released.
Mm.
After the Kebbi state one, was it Kebbi or Niger? We now heard that they were also released. And we know what release means. The kidnappers, in their magnanimity, do not release adoptees. Then recently in the Kaduna case, they denied it for 2-3 days. Even the Christian Network said that when they were trying to chase those who were being kidnapped, because they don't come with magic wands. They come with bikes and trucks and buses and move these people out. And tell me if the moving of these people out in buses is completely camouflaged. Then what did we hear? We now heard, about 100 escaped the kidnappers' den. And then the last one was the remaining 100 returned. I think it's enough of calling Nigerians stupid. We're not even going to debate this. Forget this story. Of course, government, how do I put it? Government believes that they can continue lying to the Nigerian people when it's become a complete industry. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I remember the case of the Baptist school children, the Baptist students in Kaduna, especially those that were ambushed on the train that was ambushed. All of them had to pay. They all had to pay, even to a point that where kidnappers were immediately talking to government and saying 100 million naira for a head. It's the country that we are now living in, and until government is able to call out, because now this is where you see government complicity, that they're unable to call out the people behind these things. We're all going to be here. Right? We're all going to be here. And whoever has the balls to be able to start calling the names of these politicians that sponsor these heinous crimes, then at the end of the day, we have ourselves to blame. Nobody's coming from outside to do this.
Nobody's coming from outside to do this. You just wonder, with the level of energy that the US is putting in where Nigeria's situation is concerned, are we applying as much energy, on our own case, as it were? It's an unfortunate situation that we're living in right now, and it just seems like, hey, where is the light at the end of the tunnel? Well, there's no power right now in some places anyway.
So, according to the Minister for Information, the report is false. He did say that there were contradictions in the accounts from the foreign agency, but he neglected or failed or refused to identify what these contradictions are. So I just have one question, and it's for everyone to brood on, dwell on as you go on through the day, and possibly the rest of the week. If no ransom was paid and no military operation was conducted to rescue the hostages, how were they rescued?
Serious food for thought. We don't have an answer to that. They were released at the end of the day. All right, Lakunle, let us keep the wheels turning right now and talk about the health sector. We're stepping into the punch where it says the federal government has come under criticism as foreign exchange outflow for health-related travel by Nigerians surged to about $549.2 million in the first 9 months of 2025. That's a 17.96% increase from $465.6 million in the same period of 2024. Now, this is, honestly speaking, I was thinking that those numbers would be a whole lot higher, looking at where we are right now. And one of the reasons I thought about that is, I don't know if you saw a recent video about a young doctor, I can't remember her name, where she posted a video, a vlog of hers that showed where she was working for about 24 hours on call in various departments across the hospital. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, Lakunle, but I'll let you get your thoughts in on this one. You're muted, Lakunle.
I thought I was already talking. Yeah. So Ayo, you see, my people say that you are outside, then you see a man come and you tell the man, hey, the load you are carrying on your head is not standing straight. And the man responds, is the up you are looking at? Look at my legs. My legs not going is the problem. It would have been nice if I was able to say that in Yoruba. You see, like we're looking at the top of the problem. That's why we are discussing money. We're not looking at the foundation, the basic foundation of this thing. At this table, we have spoken about what is our plan to grow our medical industry in terms of training, right? The doctor, the pharmacist, the nurses, everybody in that chain, right? Today, there are 311 universities, licensed universities in Nigeria. About 111 of them offer to train medical doctors only. No, all of them put together don't graduate up to 5,000 in a year. The number that they graduate put together, about half of them seek to leave Nigeria immediately they graduate. The half of the other half that is left, he's not even able to get a place to conclude their training in terms of residency. So we are looking at the numbers as it is diminishing, right? We had a minister once who said those who could not do residency should go and learn to be a tailor, to go and be tailors. That is basic problem number one. Basic problem number two is then again, the ones that have the employment, they are overworked. Just as you refer to one a general hospital, it is not in a village. I can't remember which town, which state capital that was. I can't remember, but I saw it. One doctor attending to every patient in that hospital in one day. That's overwork. There's also the problem of inadequate equipment, tools, work tools to work, the safety things, all of those things are there, right? Then there's also the problem of where you have those equipments, you have the doctors, right? The cost of maintaining those equipment itself, there was a day somebody was analyzing the cost of maintaining an MRI machine in one day, and it is unbelievable, right? And then let's go back a little bit again. Let's go back. Professor, I'm one of the students and fan of Professor Okorie Ransom Kuti, God bless his soul, as far back as 1974 when he started the crusade about primary health care.
Right.
And today, primary health care is supposed to be the primary responsibility of the local governments. Pray, what our local governments doing? The malaria that kills people, that kills 2 in every, is it 2 in every 5 or 2 in every 6 children under 5 is still there. We have not solved that problem. Those malaria is supposed to be taken care of by primary health care, right? The basic ailments, your fever, your Lassa fever, your cholera, your polio that have vaccines that can treat them, we're nowhere near eradicating those things in Nigeria. So, and then the bigger picture of the problem, the people who are supposed to pretend and provide these services, once they have a slight headache, they jump on a plane and go abroad to go and treat themselves.
Exactly.
So why does that leave the rest of us who cannot go abroad? You see, the number we have reported here are those who officially get the dollars to go. It's not even referring to those who source for these dollars in other means, right? So the problem is large. I don't want to look at this in terms of the money. Look, the money we spend to go out, we continue to increase, leave that one. We can't worry about that one. The only way we can reduce this is to address the foundation. And that foundation is train medical doctors, find them places to get trained and become experts, provide working tools, provide conducive working environment, pay them an equitable fee, and so on and so forth. Unless we do that, this money you're looking at this year will probably double next year.
Okay. Again, I'm just going to throw in one sentence. Last year, the Federation of Nigeria spent 36 million naira, 36, on capital projects for the Ministry of Health.
For the entire country.
The entire country. Let that sink in. And then the story gets even more beautiful or even more wonderful when you go from state to state.
Hey, let's take a breather here. When we come back, we shall jump into more stories. Devoe, I'll be coming back to you. And I'll be taking some messages that have come in already, some interesting thoughts already lined up on WhatsApp. Keep it tuned. This is Freshly Pressed of the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. 36 million. Is it for rice?
Sorry?
36 million. Is it for rice? Is it for Agbadu? 36 million.
That's 3 months too.
So let's break that thing down a little bit, right? In my opinion, in my thinking, I think that some of the things that the minister reported, some other ministries and agencies have taken it out away from them. So you have what you call your constituency project. So if I'm what's it called? I'm a senator and I have a constituency project to build a primary health center in one of the villages in my area, it is also health related, right? But the funding didn't come from Ministry of Health. It came from maybe Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi. You know, that's how they do this thing.
Lakunle, sorry to interrupt. Devoe, 1 or 3?
5.
Sorry. I meant 1 or 5. Sorry. You've done 3. No
5. The new IG is not a story. It's the same police.
But we have to talk about it now. At least we have to congratulate him. At least
I will congratulate to Disu. Now, my guy, don't worry, we'll put one line in for him. But it's not a story. It's the same police.
All right. Let's jump back in. All right, welcome back into Freshly Pressed this Wednesday morning on Smooth 98.1, brought to you by Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. Ayokunmi Kekireakun here, having a swell time in the studio with Devoe, Lakunle, and of course, Mr. C. And we are welcoming you in to join us and share your perspectives on the issues on ground this morning. WhatsApp number is 0911 990 Leave a comment on YouTube as well at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Let me take a message here. This is from Shegun, who says, good morning, gentlemen. Believe those propagandists at your own peril. Truth has become a very expensive commodity at the moment. The Nigerian atmosphere is full of lies in every sphere and sector. The search for true and exemplary leadership continues. Are we even searching at all? I don't even know. And Pedro says, good morning, gentlemen. Have we forgotten that we were told by this same government that these people were rescued via non-kinetic means, aka ransom? They said there's no ransom now.
Maybe they prayed.
Well, I mean, prayers work, prayers in inboxes and so on. Prayers work all the time. All right, Devoe, coming back to you right now, and let us talk about the story in the Vanguard, and it has to do with Peter Obi and John Oyegun. Yes, Peter Obi, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate and a top figure of the ADC, the African Democratic Congress, John Oyegun, on Tuesday escaped an attack by hoodlums in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Now, it's gathered that the armed hoodlums shot at Mr. Obi and Oyegun, as well as members of the Obedient Movement, while they were moving to Mr. Oyegun's residence from the ADC Secretariat in Edo State. Very troubling incident happening in Edo State, Devoe. And it's very, very instructive to know that this same Edo State where Governor Kwebola at some point in the past, if you remember, talked about individuals such as Peter Obi not coming into the state without security clearance and so on and so forth. But what do we make of this particular one in context?
Okay, just to join two stories because they're actually related to each other. Yes, welcome, Mr. Tunji. We have a new IG. IG come, IG go. It's not much for celebration because it's the same police institution that has been failing Nigerians, that has been compromised to a large extent with various governments in power. It's the same police institution that hasn't been given much attention, hence their poor performance, okay? We only have about 350, of which 150 are working with VIPs, and which leaves many Nigerians unpoliced. Now that leads us to this story of the attack, which we clearly know was political in Edo State. The ADC folks, that's the coalition party, they came together to have a rally as well as welcome the entrance of Olumide Apata, that was a former Labour candidate in Edo State in the last election. Unfortunately for them, while they were finishing the rally at the Secretariat, they noticed some buses that were moving unusually. Those buses trailed them to the house of Mr. Yegun, who, yes, was a former governor of Bende in those days. And then they started attacking, even though no lives was lost from what they said at the end of the day. Even when Peter Obi spoke, he made reference to the bullet shots and co. But you see, whilst one would think, oh, it was just ordinary hoodlums chasing politicians, if you still remember, there is a trace where Peter Obi came to Edo State to donate to a school, of which it somehow the government felt embarrassed and threatened him that he should not enter Edo State without security clearance, that his safety was not guaranteed. Now, if you connect the dots and literally what the Akakpomisa has been doing as Governor Kwebelo, you will see that this is political intolerance taking place here. And it's been taken to new heights in Edo State. It's not so much because of Peter Obi, right, or the ADC. It's more so what we have allowed our politics to become in this country. It's no longer about democracy and egalitarian, right-minded human beings. We literally have gangsters in power now. We literally have thugs, hoodlums, as the street urchins, as the fourth arm of government, okay? Whereby they're used in elections, they're used even after elections, they're left to maraud Nigerian citizens. Nigerians, honestly, this is a call for each and every one of us to understand that we're going to have to take our country back because we can't keep doing this reporting of incidences at every point in time. You can see, like I said, we have a new IG, still same police. At the end of the day, even though their own security forces were able to fight back, how many of us are entitled to guns? How many of us have the capacity to be able to take on some of these terrorists, hoodlums, etc., that continue committing crime in the name in the name of terrorism, in the name of politics? Look at Kebbi states that the president went and had the Agrungru festival. You would have thought that, oh, the state did well to provide security for people to come and watch. Immediately they left. They attacked people the week after. I think they kidnapped about 20, killed about how many in this same country. And right now, many people are becoming, what do you call it, incensed to the level of crime. We are not supposed to live like this. We can't be sleeping with one eye open, which means we're not sleeping at the end of the day. We're going to have to take our country back and ensure that we have leaders that actually represents the sanity of Nigerian citizens, not gangsters in power who at the end of the day we can't really explain. Look at this matter. The police have said, oh, they're aware, but really, is the police going to get to the bottom of it? Is the police going to do anything about it? We've turned our politics into gangsterism. Well, we can't live a country like this. We just cannot, and this is the hard reality. Which is why now, I don't know. We'll have to find a new name for the kidnapping industry. Kidnap, government pays, you get released. That's the new word. We don't have to say it. We don't have to write it in the newspapers. Get kidnapped, government comes through, pays, and you get released.
Emeka Onelum on WhatsApp says, there was a time when 20 to 30% of Nigerian doctors had no intention to jackpot. Now it's far more than that, if not close to 90%. Presently, we have WhatsApp groups for doctors writing different foreign exams to jackpot. Those of us that chose to stay behind are treated very poorly. Till now, the 8 months 2023 FG salary arrears that NERD went on strike for has still not been paid. We are tired. See, these are the issues. And we deal with tales that, oh, implementation has started and so on and so forth. Well, the doctor has said he hasn't seen anything. Who do we believe at the end of the day?
I told them to stay on strike. They refused.
All right, Lakunle, let us talk about rent, another serious issue. At this point in time, I don't even know how to deal with this anymore. The punch is where we're going to, and it says that residents across parts of Lagos have described the spiraling cost of house rents as suffocating, urging urgent legislative and executive intervention to prevent a deepening housing crisis. The housing crisis is it has deepened already at this point in time. Lakunle.
So the first question, or rather, the first seeming solution is everybody turns to the government to ask, legislate. Pray, what kind of legislation do we want the government to make to say, so if your house is in Ajangbadi, you cannot,
That's fixed
a
price.
two-bedroom flat, you must not do rent more than 200,000 per annum. So if we do that for that, then we must do for school proprietors too. So if your school is also in Ajangbadi, your school fees per term must not be more than 50,000. And then we'll dovetail it into the man who is in the, what's it called? In the market selling pepper. So your pepper for a bucket must not be more than 1,000 naira, so that it can be equitable, so that because the man who sells pepper in the market will pay house rent, will pay school fees. So if the landlord says the house rent is 10,000, it is from the proceeds of his paypay, he must be able to pay 10,000, pay school fees, pay house rent, pay transporter, and so on and so forth. So you get what I mean? So in that instance, I am not sure that what government should do is legislate on rent. I think what we should have done, and which we have missed in the last 40 years thereabout, in Lagos and many others in all our states in Nigeria, is to concentrate on providing affordable housing projects. Just a few days ago, one of my friends pointed something at me, said that, in New York, when they say that I live in the projects, that a pure example of what they call projects in America is what 1004 estates is in Nigeria. But guess what? 1004 estates in Nigeria is a big man's joint. But in the US, the equivalent of that is a project. Projects means that poor people, where poor people lives in New York.
Low income housing.
Exactly. So look at Lagos State particularly, for example. I was old enough to know that between 1979 and 1983, just 4 years, one man, one governor had a plan to make this happen. At the last count, there are at least 13 different Jack-on-Day housing estates in Lagos, housing minimum 5,000 families each. Now, imagine since 1983, if every governor had done additional 5,000 units each, right? Let's even leave the corruption that's going to come with the allocation or whatever out of it. Imagine that had happened, that the state is providing such low income, as at that time, housing units for people to apply to own or to rent or whatever. Today, Nigeria says that we have about 25 million housing deficits. What is our plan to meet that 25 million housing deficit? Today's government will say they are building affordable houses and then they will price it at 45 million. A director in that same government can, on a salary, cannot afford that 45 million naira house.
And that's so affordable housing.
How is that affordable? So where I think government should focus is that point where we say low income houses. We're not going to be building duplexes and 3-bedroom houses. We're going to be building high rises to accommodate the multitude. A government that focuses on doing that will start to solve this problem of house rent, because we have actually left it in the hands of the person that can afford it should take it.
All right.
Okay, so very quickly, right? Yes, Mr. Jack-on-Day started the process, but we mustn't forget a certain city boy built Lagos, and he's now the helm of affairs. Let's continue to give him time to build Nigeria.
Let me take your messages as we wrap up on the show this morning. Shemande said, good morning to you. He says, good morning, gentlemen. Lakunle is spot on with the state of healthcare in Nigeria. People are allegedly stealing trillions. Our representatives are spending mere millions on healthcare. Is it Agbado and paracetamol they want to buy for the clinics? We'll meet at the polling units. Well, hopefully we will meet at the polling units. And if what happened in Abuja is anything to go by, I don't know. I don't know at this point. Ajayi Oloniluwa in Magodo Jerry Sherry says, the attack on the ADC chieftains in Edo State was unwarranted and the governor must be held responsible. It's a baptism of fire for the new IGP. Thank you for your message, Ajay. Tony in Marine Beach. Tony, how you doing? Good morning to you. He says, one wouldn't be making a mistake if one describes Nigeria as animal farm, because it is clear that some are more equal than others. Sick Nigerians lie in front of emergency wards and no beds, while others can fly abroad with a common headache. We should be looking forward to having Boko Haram Global Ventures, Lakurawa Nigeria Limited, and so on. And CSE should begin to consider that just because it's become an industry. Imagine how elections have turned a mini war in this country. These rulers, in all caps, should be very careful with these constant attacks on opposition. Patience gets lifeline. God save Nigeria. God save Nigeria. God save Nigeria indeed. And Shegun says, Mr. C, please don't make statements like that. Not everyone is smart enough to see the sarcasm. I disagree. This is smooth. Smooth listeners are the most intelligent out there. They will get the sarcasm. Yes, they will. This is from Toby from Lewis Street, who says, morning, Smooth. Bonanza and cowboy display in Edo State. Pretty alarming. Peter Obi and John Oyegun, please take care. All our precious medical doctors migrating. This mass exodus is warranted. Is warranted or is not warranted? Good morning, all. This is Gilbert Musa in Festac. Mr. Lakunle said it all. Our healthcare delivery system should revive our, number one, primary healthcare centers. Number two, teaching hospitals. Number three, vaccine centers. In 1945, we had a vaccine center in Yaba that produced vaccines for Nigeria and for West Africa. 1945, Gilbert, that was way back when. Deji says, how much are they paying?
People.
How much are they paying now in the existing low-income houses? Is it ownership or rental? Please, some of us don't know how this works. This is where the information needs to get out there. Really and truly. Jerry says, good morning, Ayano. If they build the houses, the government officials with deep pockets will purchase them and resell to the interested buyers. Let me go to YouTube. I think I saw a comment or two here. AB on YouTube. AB, good morning. AB says 1 million per state, excluding the FCT. That's the 36 million you talked about for that was put out last year in the health ministry. And he says the rent solution is for competition to be increased with the provision of public housing. The housing ministry got zero budgetary allocation from the government. That, you know what? It's time for us to go. So much to say, but not enough time to actually say it. Let me just drop my pen at this point in time. Thank you so much for all the messages and the interactions. You are very much appreciated. You are the real MVPs. Big MVPs with me. Devoe, Lakunle, and Mr. C. Lakunle, very quickly, take us home.
Hey, congratulations to IGP Tunji Disu. I hope that
acting IGP.
acting IGP, yeah. So congratulations to him. We hope that it will still be accessible to many of us as he was when he was commander of RRS in Lagos and recently as AIG Force FCID Alagbon. And I wish him the best in his tenure as IGP, as acting and probably the substantive IGP going forward. Let's have a good day today and the rest of the week.
Yes, indeed. Devoe.
For those of you paying 40 million naira rent for 2-bedroom, it's time we all pack to the village.
At this point in time, that's a distinct possibility.
For you to go to.
We'll build in the village, Lakunle. Solution has to day, as they say.
One bag of cement is 10,000 naira.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Lakunle. Thank you, Devoe. Thank you, wonderful, wonderful listeners. Let's go out and have a beautiful day ahead.
A beautiful day on the horizon. Thank you, gentlemen. Once again, the locker room comes up at 8:15. We'll be talking Champions League, so many other things. Inter and the Italian teams. What's going on? Fred Adoki, you need to join us because what is happening to the Serie A? That and so much more. My name is Ayokunmi Kekiria. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1.